Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. I've been waiting a while for this one. It's my great pleasure to present the year 2000 stainless steel 125-piece edition Audemars Piguet Millenary Star Wheel. Based on their landmark 1991 Wandering Hours watch, the Star Wheel, this takes their 1995 Millenary case and, in 125 pieces in steel, blends it with the aesthetic of the Wandering Hours complication. So you have stars, you have wheels, you have jumper pawls, you have a JLC base movement, and a watch that anyone can wear. As it's 41 millimeters across from 9 to 3, not including the crown. It's only 8.9 millimeters thick, and from lug to lug, 43.7 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. So the Star Wheel came out in 1991, the Millenary came out in 1995, and the two of them joined forces for this watch in the year 2000. Now that was also the year Audemars Piguet turned 125, so if you're wondering about the edition number, now you know. It was made in rose gold, and there was even a platinum pocket watch based on the mechanism, but the steel example you see here is considered to be the most desirable and certainly the most wearable. On my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference, you could see that the short lug-to-lug of just under 47 millimeters means that these lugs are nowhere near the edge of my wrist, so this is absolutely viable on a smaller wrist or even a female wrist. Consider it useful on wrists as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, and yes, it will slide easily under a dress cuff. Strap, you could see what I describe as medium rectangular scale alligator leather, dark blue, semi-gloss. There's a monotone stitch, a thin folded edge, calfskin lining on the bottom. You can see a brand new Audemars Piguet factory strap. And because the lugs are drilled fairly close to the case to move the pivot centers inboard for a smaller wrist, a curved spring bar is used here to prevent any impediment to the range of motion of the strap. It can pull straight down and out of the lugs. We have this lovely Millenary inspired single fold steel deployant clasp. It has the AP logo style swing arm from the period in steel to match the watch. Look at this case. Beautifully made, isn't it? Welded lug construction with the case and the lugs built separately, and then the lugs welded to the case and hand filed to create this super sharp break between the lug profile and the case itself. That is a laborious and slow-going and artisanal way to make a case, and it's something you do not see all that often these days on Audemars Piguet's increasingly mass-produced offerings, but it's beautiful here. This is the AP that I love. We have a combination of polish and satin, rather rotund mid-case, and a very flat bezel with two facets, the vertical and then the sloped plane. We have an AP logo push-down crown. All of this 30 meters water resistant, so don't test the theory, splash only. On the reverse side, you can see 125 years of Audemars Piguet since 1875, the oldest Swiss watch brand, continuously owned and run by founding family members. And then you can see this was an E24000 series. So for those of you who are connoisseurs of AP serial numbers, they are sequential, at least up to a point. This watch came out in 2000, and E24561 represented the 2000 model year, so you can use that to cross-reference. On the dial side, we have the Star Wheel system. I know some people are going to wonder, because of the aesthetic of some of the lighter patches, and no, it is not luminescent, so I just wanted to be clear about that. What it is spectacular. So this is the Audemars Piguet 2811 module on top of the base caliber, which Audemars Piguet calls 2224, but it's basically a JLC 889. You have to remember, through the 90s and right up to the development of this watch, AP owned a sizable chunk of Jaeger-LeCoultre. I believe they had 40%. So the relationship between the companies was very close, both historically and during this period. Now, the movement on the module side is beautifully decorated. All the hardware that you can see features mirror beveled, satination, polished screws with chamfered slots in circumference. And the carousel features the Star Wheels. Those are the Star Wheels and their jumper pawls. There are 3 jumper pawls and 3 Star Wheels and 3 sapphire discs, each featuring 4 hours to get us up to 12 total. It is a digital time display based on the Renaissance era Wandering Hours clock complication. You can see that right there is 5:05. That's 5:10. That's 5:15. 15. And as the outgoing hour disappears at the bottom, the incoming hour up at the top enters the scale, and that's how the system works. And yes, it is a lot of fun to play with. And if you think, wow, that looks a lot like Urwerk, what you really should be saying is that Urwerk looks a lot like Audemars Piguet, because the first Urwerk watches didn't launch until 1997, and AP's Star Wheel system, the one you see here, launched on the original Star Wheel in 91. So this is AP's innovation, at least in the wristwatch sphere. There have been other wandering hour style complications in the past, in the 30s and the 20s, so I'm not going to claim AP is the only one to have used this type of display on a wristwatch, but in the modern era, this was something they very much revived. Underneath the case back, we have that JLC 889 doing business as AP caliber 2224 with the 2811 module. So this is a bidirectional automatic winder with a 38 to 40 hour power reserve, 4 hertz beat rate. It does feature a hacking function, though there is no seconds dial on the watch. 31 joules with a 5-position adjustment, which is high horology. It is a partially hand-finished movement, so certainly living up to the legend of Audemars Piguet and doing the reputation of Jaeger-LeCoultre And the movement is only 3.25 millimeters thick. That's the base caliber, which explains how this 2-part modular complication and base movement can be so thin in a sub-9 millimeter case. Remember, automatic winding, 38 to 40 hours. So this is a watch that is designed in steel to be worn and enjoyed on a daily basis. If you love this watch, there may not be another one. These are few and far between, and I hardly ever see them, even working here. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.